Imagine walking into a kitchen where every corner is cluttered and every surface is buried under piles of dishes, utensils, and groceries. The chaos can quickly drain your energy, leaving you feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. But what if you could transform that space into a stress-free, organized haven? It's not just a dream, it's entirely possible with just a few practical steps. Whether it's systematically organizing your pantry, adopting a decluttering as you go approach, or finding storage solutions that fit your needs, the journey to a clutter-free kitchen is one that can dramatically improve your everyday life. Today, we're going to explore ways to make your kitchen more clutter-free. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to drop your belongings wherever you find a spot after a long day? Whether it's tossing your briefcase by the door or leaving your jacket on a chair. Over time, these small habits can turn your space into a cluttered mess, making it harder to unwind or stay focused. To prevent this, why not develop a routine where everything has its designated place and you make it a point to put things away right away? For example, rather than leaving your gym gear out, you could store it neatly in its proper place. Make sure work materials are filed away instead of piling up on your desk. These minor shifts in daily habits can significantly reduce clutter, leading to a more organized and peaceful environment. Similarly, the final few minutes of your workday can greatly influence how smoothly the next day begins. Consider implementing a routine where you spend a few moments at the end of each day organizing your workspace. This could involve clearing your desk, filing away papers, and setting up your workspace for the next day's tasks. By doing this, you'll avoid the stress of starting your day in a disorganized environment, which can impact productivity and mood. Whether it's ensuring your digital files are in order or tidying up your physical workspace, these simple actions can lead to a more efficient and focused start to the next day. Establishing these routines can create a more structured and less chaotic environment, both at home and at work. Have you ever thought about how keeping everything visible can transform your ability to stay organized? Consider the difference between a tidy kitchen countertop and a cluttered one. When every ingredient and utensil is neatly arranged and visible, preparing a meal becomes more efficient. On the other hand, if everything is hidden away in cabinets, it's easy to lose track of what you have and end up with a chaotic workspace. This principle isn't limited to kitchens. It's applicable in many areas of life. Take, for example, the organization of a project workspace. When you leave important documents and tools out in the open, you're constantly reminded of your tasks and responsibilities, which can boost productivity and reduce procrastination. Similarly, think about a well-organized art studio where all supplies are displayed on open shelves. This setup not only makes it easier to find materials, but also inspires creativity because the artist can see everything they have at a glance. The same concept applies to personal belongings, like when clothing is neatly arranged in open wardrobes. Having your wardrobe visible helps you keep track of what you own and makes it easier to choose outfits, thus promoting a more organized and efficient daily routine. By keeping items visible, you create a continuous reminder to maintain order, leading to a more streamlined and functional environment in any area of life. The area beneath furniture or workspaces often ends up as a catch-all for items that lack a proper home, gradually becoming a disorganized and cluttered space. Whether it's the storage cabinet in your office or the shelf in your garage, these spaces can easily turn into dumping grounds for things you just want out of sight. If your storage spaces are starting to feel chaotic, it might be time to consider a new organization approach. One effective solution is to use storage boxes or dividers to group similar items together. For example, in an office, you could allocate one box for stationery, another for electronic accessories, and another for important documents. In a workshop, tools could be categorized and stored in specific containers, one for screws and nails, another for hand tools, and so on. This method not only makes it easier to find what you need, but also prevents unrelated items from piling up in the same space. Additionally, items that don't belong in these areas should be relocated to a more suitable spot, such as storing seasonal decorations in the attic or placing gardening supplies in the shed. By organizing these spaces with thoughtful storage solutions, you can transform them from cluttered and chaotic to orderly and functional, making it much easier to maintain and access what you need when you need it. The condition of your workspaces can greatly influence the overall atmosphere of your environment. Imagine walking into an office where the desk is clear of unnecessary papers, or into a workshop where tools are neatly arranged rather than scattered everywhere. These spaces immediately feel more productive, organized, and inviting. This principle applies to any area where clutter tends to accumulate. While some might argue that keeping every surface completely clear is ideal, the reality is that certain tools or materials need to be accessible for daily tasks. For example, in a creative studio, it might be essential to keep a sketch pad or a set of drawing pencils out for quick access. However, a useful guideline is to ensure that only items used on a daily basis remain visible. If something is only used occasionally, it's better stored away in drawers or storage bins. While it may initially seem cumbersome to continually put things away, it really only takes a few moments and pays off with a more organized and serene workspace. This habit also naturally encourages maintaining a clean and efficient environment, as it prevents clutter from taking over. Just because there's extra space on a desk or shelf doesn't mean it needs to be filled. Whether it's in a shared living area, an office, or a creative space, it's easy to fall into the habit of filling up all available space with items that may not be necessary. Often, clutter only gets addressed when it becomes too overwhelming to ignore, leading to a scramble to sort through piles of accumulated materials. But instead of waiting until it becomes a source of stress, it's better to routinely evaluate and declutter. It's perfectly okay to have an empty drawer or a clean surface. This can actually enhance the functionality and aesthetic of your space. Regularly going through storage areas may reveal how many items are outdated, redundant, or no longer serve a purpose. These things often linger simply because there's space for them, but recognizing and removing unnecessary items can make your environment feel more organized and conducive to productivity. It's easy for certain spaces to become catch-alls for various items, leading to a cluttered mess that can be frustrating to manage. While some might not see the need for a specific storage area for miscellaneous items, having a dedicated spot for small tools, office supplies, or even craft materials can be incredibly beneficial. If you have a workspace or a garage, for example, it's common for screws, nails, and other tiny parts to get scattered or mixed up. To prevent this, consider using small storage bins or compartmentalized boxes to organize these items effectively. This approach not only helps in keeping things tidy, but also ensures that you can quickly find what you need when working on a project. Extending this concept to a broader context, think about your digital environment. Files and documents can quickly become disorganized, making it difficult to locate important information when you need it. By setting up folders and subfolders on your computer, each with a clear purpose, you can avoid the chaos of scattered files. Regularly sorting through and organizing your digital space can prevent it from becoming an overwhelming task. Similarly, in a shared living area like a lounge or a study room, it's easy for books, magazines, and gadgets to pile up without a designated storage system. By introducing shelves or specific storage containers for different categories of items, you create a more organized and visually pleasing space. In all these scenarios, the key is to establish a system where each item has its own place. Whether it's in your workspace, digital files, or common living areas, assigning a specific spot for everything makes it much easier to maintain order. This not only reduces clutter, but also increases efficiency, as you won't waste time searching for misplaced items. dealing with a collection of mismatched office supplies, like dried-out pens and notebooks with various designs, often highlights the need for a more cohesive setup. Upgrading to a set of matching high-quality office tools can significantly enhance both functionality and style in the workspace. Replacing an assortment of disorganized items with a coordinated set of pens, notebooks, and organizers can make a noticeable difference. For instance, using matching notebooks and pens not only improves the desk's aesthetic, but also streamlines organizing tasks. New items with sleek designs and practical storage solutions help eliminate the clutter from a mix of different styles. Having dedicated compartments for each type of office supply makes it easier to quickly find what's needed. This simple update transforms a chaotic area into a functional and visually pleasing workspace. Investing in a few well-chosen, high-quality office supplies can simplify daily tasks and elevate the work environment. If there are other areas of the home or workspace where organization tips would be helpful, feel free to leave a comment. Remember to subscribe for more helpful advice as the goal of reaching 500,000 subscribers approaches. Stay tuned for more insights and ideas in the coming weeks.